Stick It with Mr. Biggs is made possible by listeners like you. To support the show, go to askmrbiggs.com/support.
You're going to start it?
No, you do it this time.
Since
you enjoy doing it so much and everyone seems to think you did such a good job, I think you should do it.
We can do it now?
Stick it.
All right. Once again, it's time for another episode of Stick It with Mr. Biggs. And once again, here's your host, Mr. Biggs.
Yeah, that's me. My name is Mr. Biggs, and I am here to answer all your adhesive questions, your problems with glues and gluing projects. That is the purpose of this here podcast at askmrbiggs.com. That's where you got all the contact information, all that stuff to reach the show.
Social media stuff is there. All the places that we go and socialize on media.
Is it really socializing?
When
I think socializing, I consider there to be some nice music playing in the background and maybe a cocktail and some hors d'oeuvres on a tray nearby. Maybe some small talk with people near and laughing politely at fun rib ticklers. That's socializing, Roger. Typing on your phone is not socializing. That's antisocial behavior.
Well, the thing is, though, a lot of these things like Twitter and Facebook, you're sort of, when you chat with the members of your group, it's almost like you're in a room. I feel like
but you're not. You're not in a room. You're on your phone. You're right. You're not in a room. That's a good point.
Well, it's like a virtual room, as they would say in.
You're virtually ignoring the people around you.
Internet terminology. Terminology.
Roger, just tell them the one place they can go to get all the links and all the things. Just tell them.
It's at askmrbiggs.com.
No. Tell them the one place they can go to get all the contact information for the show.
www.
Roger, I'm talking about the dry erase board at Whiz-Bangs. I grabbed the blue dry erase marker and I copied down all of the social media contacts and the email address. All of that stuff is on the whiteboard. So if you want to contact the show, head on over to Whiz-Bangs. And where do they find that, Roger? You remember?
Phillips and Mountain downtown.
The dry erase board up by the register. Just walk on up, take a picture with your picture phone. Then you'll have all the links that you'll need to contact the show Stick It with Mr. Biggs.
Stick it.
A good time to try that, to check that out would be maybe Tuesday brunch, liver and onions brunch, Tuesday mornings.
Well, no, not necessarily, because on Tuesday we're gonna wipe down the board and we're gonna write up the Tuesday special on the board on Tuesday, because people want to know what the special is.
The liver and onions brunch.
The liver and onions, yeah, that's what brunch. Yeah, we got to write that on the board. But right now, if you go there right now, you got the Twitter and you got the website and the Gmail address. What was it? Bigscast with 2 G's at gmail.com.
With 1 G.
Yeah.
Do you still have the offer lima beans as one of the sides with the liver and onions brunch?
It's time for breaking news.
Breaking news. Breaking news
On Stick It with Mr. Biggs. Now this here is a portion of the show where we tell you about an item in the news, something that's happened, where something got all busted up, and I tell you how to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand the concept?
I do.
Dateline Chicago. A man who tried to rob a pizza delivery driver with a fake gun. Early Tuesday in North Suburban Evanston was foiled when the weapon cracked as he pulled it out. A 58-year-old delivery driver was delivering pizza when a man approached and demanded the pizza and the money. I don't think he had the money yet. He hadn't delivered the pizza yet. You got to plan these things out, people.
Yeah.
Maybe get yourself your own whiteboard and maybe work out the steps ahead of time. Just visualize it before you try the caper.
Carry it along with you and then refer to it along the way.
As the suspect began to pull out what appeared to be a handgun, a plastic piece broke off, revealing that the weapon was fake, police said. The man ran away down an alley. The plastic piece was recovered by officers, police also said, and the suspect was described as a black man in his early 20s, 6 feet and about 200 pounds, wearing a white sweater and blue jeans. If you've seen this man, contact bigscast@gmail.com, and we'll go ahead and forward those over to Chicago police.
Right. Or, this is for our listeners in the greater Chicagoland area.
Let us know, and we'll pass it on.
Right. Just give us contact us, and we'll let them know.
Well, the name of the segment is called Breaking News, and clearly we've got a broken plastic toy gun situation going on here. At this point, not knowing the full extent of the damages, I'm going to work under the assumption that the gun is completely non-operable and unable to be used for cops and robber play.
Not a real gun is what you're saying.
Oh, no, it's not a real gun, Roger. It was a toy gun because it was made out of plastic. It's not real. It's fake.
That's
it was
right.
a fake gun. Did you not hear that part of the story?
They don't.
It's fake.
I just thought maybe by now that they've made guns out of plastic.
Well, it's a good point. They have made them out of composites, and there are some people that are attempting to 3D manufacture some guns, but they're not very practical. And I think it's safe to say that a black guy in his early 20s, 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, wearing a white sweater and blue jeans in the greater Chicago area probably is not utilizing 3D printing technology.
It's good. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mean to stereotype, but unfortunately, a lot of the inner city youths, they don't have access to the STEM programs that the kids in the other areas have access to. It's unfortunate, and it really should be remedied.
Yeah,
let's try to work on that as a society, people.
Yeah, let's some of these resources need to be spread out. So let's
support your local maker spaces so they can 3D print some guns.
Yeah.
So the plastic toy gun is all busted up. Let's see what we can do to fix that. Now, you got a gun where a plastic piece is broken off. Now, that's unfortunate, but there are many different ways of fixing this. I got one in my back pocket. Not literally, Roger. When I say I got an idea in my back pocket.
Not a gun.
It's not a gun. I am not armed. I'm talking about an idea. It's a little trick that I use when I need to fix plastic. Oftentimes, when a plastic piece breaks off or something, you don't find all the pieces sometimes. Other times, it just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit together right. It's never the same. You know what I mean?
That's true. One little bit of it is gone forever. But
a little gap maybe, and it's just you try to glue it, but unless you've got a very thick adhesive that can fill the gaps, it's tough. So here's my little tip from Stick It with Mr. Biggs.
Stick it.
Get yourself some super glue, some cyanoacrylate glue. It doesn't have to be a name brand. Lots of different people make them. Just get some super glue, all right? And get your gun and your broken broken piece. I'm assuming it's black. That's racist.
Well, I mean,
it might be a yellow gun.
Well, I think most guns used in armed robberies are black or like a gunmetal gray, something like that.
Let's just err on the side of caution. Let's just say we don't know what color the guy who did the crime is, and we have no idea what color the gun is, and he may or may not be wearing a white sweater and blue jeans. It may be different colors by now. Maybe he went to the Gap and bought new attire. Nobody knows the color of anyone or anything, for sure. We just don't know.
Well, we know he's black. That's what it said in the story.
Take the piece of plastic that came off the gun and try to fit it back into the area where it broke off of the gun. I mean, that's obvious. You probably tried that already. Now, take the super glue and very gently Apply some of the super glue around the broken edge of the broken piece. And when you fit it back onto the gun, if there's any gaps or any spaces that are left, here's the trick. Grab some baking soda, a little pinch. Reach into the box, grab a pinch of baking soda, and very gingerly sprinkle the baking soda onto the super glue. Now, this has several different benefits. One, it will cause the super glue to cure rapidly.
Oh my.
It's what's known as a kicker, Roger. Have you heard of a kicker?
Well, I mean,
Roger's never heard of a kicker.
no, I haven't.
Never. He has no idea.
No. Sometimes mules, maybe, are kickers. Not in this context. No, I don't.
We certainly have not brought up mules in this story. So, once again, I think that might be racist. I'm not sure. I don't understand.
Donkeys.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, a kicker is usually a commercial product that is used to apply to a glued thing that has been recently glued, and upon the application of the kicker, will speed the curing of the said adhesive. Now, we're just using baking soda to sprinkle on super glue. Now, have you ever used super glue before, Roger?
Oh, sure. I try to have a tube around at all times. They always dry up, but I try to keep some.
Sometimes cyanoacrylate will off gas, and it's very acrid smell that will come off of super glue, and it hurts the eyes, and it burns your nose a little bit. You know what I mean, right? You used to sniff glue, Roger. Never? Really?
No.
I had you pegged as a glue guy.
Well, I mean, I've used glue, glue and tape. I've taped up boxes for packages.
Sometimes when you use super glue, it's very stinky, and if the fumes get in your eyes, it stings, and it's a mess. So I want to warn you, not only are you using super glue for this project, and that might happen, by sprinkling the baking soda onto the super glue, you are super activating it, and it will off-gas more readily than it would on its own. So the fumes are going to be a little bit more than the super glue alone. Make sure that you do this in a well-ventilated area. All right, so crack a window, and then just sprinkle the baking soda into the super glue cracked, and kind of mix it together. Form a sort of a super glue baking soda slurry. It'll make like an opaque paste that'll fill all of the cracks. A super glue baking soda paste, and that will not only fill all the gaps, but because you're using the baking soda, it makes the super glue just bond almost immediately.
It kicks
faster. Exactly. You know what a kicker is now.
I do
you
now,
understand.
Yeah.
Now you're ready to take that toy gun out and play cops and robbers again with the pizza boy. Get on out there and have fun, you crazy kids.
I think white sweaters are a bad idea in most situations. I mean, white sweaters are really impractical.
Roger, this is not a fashion podcast.
But yeah, I mean, they stain so easily.
Christ, I knew he was going to do this. I knew he was going to take the fashion angle.
They stain easily, and then if you're out wandering around holding up pizza delivery guys, I mean, you're just going to stick out. Anybody with a white sweater anywhere in any situation stands out. So I mean, unless you're, playing in a tennis tournament in 1954, you're gonna stand out. So don't wear like a hoodie or something. But maybe next time you're gonna hold up a pizza boy.
Yeah, this has been breaking news. That was good, Roger. I like that.
At least avoid the white sweater.
So I hope that gives you some ideas on what to do next time you got some broken plastic, super glue, and baking soda. Just make sure you don't put the baking soda in the super glue first. Put the super glue on the thing you're mending, sprinkle the baking soda on it, and I think you'll be pleased with the results. Roger, do we got some email this week?
We do. We have an email standing by. I was wondering though, can we? I think I might have an idea about a sounder. Can we
with the sounders?
I think that
Roger.
I think.
Do you remember the last time we talked about this? Do you remember?
I do.
Yeah. What did we conclude last time?
Well,
We both agreed that it sounded was a bad idea.
Well, no.
Yeah.
You said it was a bad idea.
And you said, yes, you're right. I agree, and I regret bringing it up again for the 15th time.
I agreed that we would not talk about it anymore at
all
at that particular time, but I've got... I just think it's something that needs to be revisited from time to time. So if we can do
no
that...
sound is for email. I don't want to clutter up the show with too many things, Roger. It's already a little bit cluttered. I mean, you're doing your fashion report. For God's sakes, we got to keep it moving, sweetheart. This is podcasting.
Well, I just think if we can just hear the sound or I have in mind.
You know what I would like to hear?
It's an email.
I'd like to hear the email. Exactly. I want to hear the email that the listener sent in to bigscast@gmail.com about your email questions to Mr. Biggs about glues and adhesives. That's really all I want to hear right now. So let's hear that email.
All right. Well, we'll pick this up at a later time. Bigscast@gmail.com. We hear from
gmail.com.
We hear from Dan in Los Angeles, who writes, Mr. Biggs, my girlfriend has been trying to remove the labels from old spaghetti sauce jars.
Yeah.
When she soaks them in water, it just makes a mess in the sink. Is there a product or household chemical that would dissolve the label adhesive instead?
Okay.
I'm guessing he's talking about the glue that attaches the label to the jar.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I get it. He wants to clean up spaghetti jars.
Right. Just
probably wants to put some jelly beans in them and wrap some of that Jew rope around it and make some Christmas gifts for people. Although I don't think that they celebrate Christmas, do they? Do they?
Not the...
I don't think so.
That's Chanukah.
Use some natural cord or twine, some hemp fiber twine, maybe.
Yeah. But that would be a gift thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Dan. We appreciate the email.
No. He wants to know how to get rid of the adhesive that is used to attach the label.
To the jar.
Yeah. He wants to know how to get
it's
that
all
off.
Gooey. It's sticky. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes even if you rub it really hard and with a lot of elbow grease.
Yeah. What you want to do is you want to use something that is going to help release the adhesion of the glue that the label has been affixed with to the outer surface of the spaghetti jar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've talked about the product before, Goo Gone. You remember Goo Gone, right, Roger?
Goo Gone is a thing that you...
this is a product that you would use to remove the labels and stickers, or more specifically, the adhesive that is left behind when you try to remove a sticker from your big screen TV screen, or your cell phone case. Somebody put an Avery label on it and wrote, "Don't leave your phone out."
I don't follow. Are you?
Any stickers that are cheap and mass-produced are bound to leave behind some adhesive.
Like goo.
Yeah. Spread that on there, let it sit, and then it'll soften up the adhesive, and then you can just wipe it off with a damp sponge. However, if you do not have any Goo Gone in your area, because it's not sold in all areas, Roger, there's some states and municipalities that do not allow the sale or purchase of Goo Gone.
Might have to smuggle something across a border somewhere.
No, we are not suggesting federal crimes. Those people who use Goo Gone as a part of their illicit drug manufacturing activities, you people, I want nothing to do with you. And I'm not suggesting that you break the laws to go get your Goo Gone. You can make your own. You can fashion your own homemade version. Go to the bathroom and get yourself some baby powder. And then pour in a little bit of some extra virgin olive oil. Just enough where you can mix it up and create a slurry out of baby powder and olive oil. You can use your fingers. It's not going to hurt you, but I would not recommend eating it because on account of baby powder and talc.
Talc, yeah.
Yeah. Grab a spaghetti jar from the sink and dry it off. Go to your baby powder and olive oil slurry. Take a dollop with 2 fingers, and I want you to spread that all over the affected areas of the jar. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean,
Like this. Like, Roger, you take the jar and you hold it like this, and you just smear it around the side, and then you take another dollop and you smear it around the other side, and then you set it on a paper towel in the kitchen. And you repeat that for all of your spaghetti jars. Come back in about 20 minutes or so, and I think you'll find that it won't completely release the adhesive, but it will loosen it up. The oil will penetrate into the adhesive.
right.
And then you can wipe it off with a dry cloth.
The email about the spaghetti jars required a slurry, and then the toy
Olive
gun.
oil and baby powder.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the toy gun repair situation required also a slurry, which was
Super glue and baking soda.
baking soda.
Yeah.
So both.
Roger, sometimes products don't work well enough on their own for a given purpose, and you have to modify them slightly
Yeah,
to make them work for the job at hand.
I see.
That's the reason people listen to Stick It with Mr. Biggs, Roger. I tell them how to stick it.
Stick it.
Or unstick it in the case of the spaghetti jars.
Well,
But
this
you get the point. You
No.
understand what I'm saying.
Slurries in both situations. That's kind of. It's interesting.
It's like I've always said, Roger, sometimes it takes a slurry.
When have you said?
Write it on a rock, Roger. Write that on a rock. Sometimes it takes a slurry.
Sometimes it takes a slurry.
Sometimes.
Well, sometimes it takes a slurry to say goodbye to everybody that's listening to Stick It with Mr. Biggs.
Stick it.
Yeah, Roger, do me a favor. Tell everybody where they can reach the show if they want to contact us with their glue questions and adhesive problems.
AskMrBiggs.com. And
Whiz bangs on the dry erase board. Just walk on up and write them down. Transcribe them on your pad of paper because you got Twitter, you got Facebook, you got the web address, and you got email. All there.
on the whiteboard.
If you don't have time to go to Whizbangs to get the social media links off the dry erase board, just go to AskMrBiggs.com.
I guess that's it then.
All of the links are there for Stick It with Mr. Biggs.
Stick it.
Stick It with Mr. Biggs is made possible by our supporters on Patreon. John, Richard, Matt, Hugh, Elian, Hebert, and Raj Johansson. If you'd like to support the show, head on over to AskMrBiggs.com/support.
Stick it.
Do I have to say any more? There's nothing more I have to add, is there?
Did I mention the thing about the guy with the gun and the pizza?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that. And then we say goodbye.
There we are. That's where we are now.
Goodbye?
Goodbye.
See you next time on Stick It with Mr. Biggs.
Stick it.
Stick it.
Yeah, that's what I said. You should turn your headphones up.